Hello and welcome to Rathod Science Academy. Today in this session we are going to see current affairs of 14th November 2025. Before getting started, I want to make a small announcement. We in our academy we are going to launch new anthropology batch from 25th of this November, guys. And the key features of this course are duration is 4 months, and every day you'll be having 2.5 hours of classes, and every topic is dealt from basic to advanced level, and you'll get hard copy of material, and you will be also getting PYQs of topic wise along with the blueprint. And not only that, you will be having daily answering practice along with weekly test. And if you have any queries regarding this course, you can contact us on the number which is appear on the screen, that is 8074765513, or else you can directly come to academy which is located in Ashok Nagar exactly above Vikas Book Center, guys, and you can directly meet me, guys. Okay, now let us see the important topics of the day. So first topic is India's carbon emission rise slower this year, says report. So this article is talking about India's carbon dioxide emissions. When we compare with this year emissions had been decreased to some extent. So this topic is important from Environment and Ecology from GS paper 3. And next topic is India-Nepal sign pact to step up trade relations. This article is talking about India-Nepal relations, and we are going to move ahead in our bilateral relations. This topic is important from international relations from GS paper 2. And next topic is Supreme Court backs for protection of pristine forest in Jharkhand Saranda. So this article is talking about one important forest area of Jharkhand, and now Supreme Court is giving directive for this Jharkhand government to make it as a biosphere reserve. So this article is very important from your Environment and Ecology, which comes under GS paper 3. And next topic is Center releases draft seeds bill, farm outfit cautious, industry welcomes it. So here you have to see about what this draft seed bill is about, what are the aims and objectives, and next what are the important proposals under this bill. This topic is important from governance point of view. And next topic is workplace stress linked to rising of cases of diabetes among adults. So diabetes is very important from your non-communicable disease, which comes in the GS paper 3. So there we can connect this article as an example that even stress at workplace can also lead to diabetes. And this topic is important from GS paper 2 under health. And next topic is Tamil Nadu model of sub-state climate action. So Tamil Nadu is taking a lot of steps to improve climate change. So here we have to see what is that model of Tamil Nadu and what can we learn from this Tamil Nadu state, and how can we implement that kind of similar things in other states so that we can fight against climate change. So this topic is important from Environment and Ecology from GS paper 3. And next topic is how SEC, that is State Election Commission, ensuring fair elections. And again, this topic is very important from your GS paper 2 under polity. So all these are the topics that we are going to discuss in this class. Okay, see the title, guys. What is the title? Read out the title, please. India's carbon emission rises slower this year report. Okay, so what is this article directly saying about? What is the keyword here? Carbon emissions. So can anyone tell me what are the sources of carbon emissions in India? So this article is talking about carbon emissions. So here you have to see about data related to carbon dioxide emissions in our country. So how much amount of carbon dioxide emissions that we are releasing in our country, we have to see. And apart from that, you have to see sources from where this carbon dioxide emissions are releasing. And next you have to see about what are the steps taken by the government so far to control this carbon dioxide emissions. And next you have to see about what are the further measures or what is a way forward to decrease this carbon dioxide emissions in our country. So from which subject it is very important, guys? Tell me. Environment and Ecology. This subject is important from your GS paper 3 under Environment and Ecology. So if you go to the present article, it is saying that when we are comparing with this 2023, in this 2024, there is decreased carbon dioxide emissions. The present article is saying that when we are comparing with this 2023, in 2024, there is decreased carbon dioxide emissions from India. Okay, now you guys tell me, what are the reasons that contributed to reductions of this carbon emissions? Electrical vehicles, okay. So first one is improved or increased use of EVs. Next, yes, we are moving towards renewable energy. For example, increased installation of solar and as well as wind. Next, come on, think, you can do it. Online guys, tell me guys. Next. Other things, apart from electric vehicles, apart from renewable energy, what are the other things government is doing to reduce carbon dioxide emissions? Okay, let us see all those things now. Okay, this article is saying that the Global Carbon Budget 2025, please make a note of this report. Global Carbon Budget 2025 report released by an international consortium of researchers, which is led by Global Carbon Project. It said that greenhouse gas emissions are reducing, especially carbon dioxide emissions are reducing in India when we are comparing with this last year. And if you see the key findings of this report, it said that India is releasing around 2.8 to 2.9 billion tons of carbon dioxide emissions in 2025. And if you are comparing with this 2024 levels, it is 1.4% less. And if you compare with this 2023, it is 4.9% less. Are you understanding? From this 2023, if you are comparing with 2025, it is 4.9% less. In 2024, if you are comparing with 2025, it is 1.4% less. That means year on year, what we are doing? We are reducing our carbon dioxide emissions. So what is the target of our India regarding this carbon neutrality or net zero? So what is carbon neutrality is about? Amount of carbon dioxide released into atmosphere is equal to amount of carbon dioxide absorbed, right? And when we have to achieve this carbon neutrality, what is the target year of India? 2070. If you see this data 2023 to 2024, 2024 to 2025, obviously we are reducing carbon dioxide emissions. Can we achieve our target of carbon neutrality by 2070? What do you think? It is up to you guys. Okay, next one here is, this article is also saying that coal emissions growth is minimal. Nowadays, we are going for other modes of transport. We are not using this coal. And even if you see trains or railways majorly use this coal. But nowadays, we are going for diesel engines, and also we are going towards electric trains also. So because of this, coal emission growth is decreasing in India. And next one is, if you are comparing with other countries, China's emissions rise by only 0.4 percentage, and even European Union increased by 0.4 percentage, and the rest of world increased only just by 1.1 percentage. That means almost all countries, they are focusing on this renewable energy only. Because of that, across the world, we are reducing our carbon dioxide emissions. And not only that, we are also going for land use changes. We are going for decreasing of this greenhouse emissions. We are focusing on forestry. So all these are also the major reasons why we are reducing this carbon dioxide emissions. Okay, if you see what are the reasons exactly which led to this slower rise of this carbon dioxide emissions in India is, first one is, we have this year early monsoons, and even we have prolonged monsoon, and we had cyclone Monta, yes, recently. So because of this, what happened? There is reduced electricity demand. So whenever there is reduced electricity demand, what happens? The amount of electricity produced will be also be reduced. So normally more than 70% of our electricity in India is produced by coal. So what is happening indirectly? We are reducing production of electricity from this coal. That is one major reason that led to decreased carbon dioxide emissions in India in this 2025. And next one is, as you all know, that our government is focusing on improving of renewable energy. India added over 20 gigawatts of solar and wind capacity in this 2025. So because of this reason also, that led to decreased carbon dioxide emissions. And next one here is economic moderations. Even what is happening in our manufacturing sector, IIP is falling down. There is no proper industrial growth, and industries are the major contributors of greenhouse emissions. Now, because of the slow in this industrial output, that is also one leading cause for decreasing of emissions. And not only that, our government is focusing on national solar mission. Government came up with lots of schemes related to solar energy like PM Suryaghar Muft Bijli Yojana, solar panels, solar powered pump sets in agriculture. Not only that, even government is providing incentives for promotion of electric vehicles under this FAME scheme. So because of all these reasons, now what happened? There is decreased carbon dioxide emissions in our country compared to that of earlier years. So what is the way forward? What can be done in future? So we have to see about short term, medium term and as well as long term measures. In short term measures till 2030, we can go for tripling of renewable energy capacity in our country. And we can also go for removal of subsidies for coal. So whenever we are removing subsidies for coal, what happens? Coal price will be increased. So whenever coal price is increasing, will these companies go for buying of coal? No. So in that way, we can minimize the use of coal. And next one here is in the medium term, that is from 2030 to 2040, we can focus on improving of usage of non-fossil fuel. Especially we can go for electrification of our transport. 80% of our vehicles which are running on the road should be electrified. And we can go for production of green hydrogen. And not only that, we can go for 20% of ethanol blending with petrol, so that complete combustion of the fuel happens, so that will be releasing less greenhouse gas emissions into atmosphere. And in the long term, we can go for increasing of forest cover, because if you are planting a seedling today, how many years it will take to become big? It will take minimum 15 to 20 years, right? So here we can have the long term goal like restoring of forest cover, and we can also integrate AI related to this emission tracking, and even all countries need to come together and they need to achieve their targets so that we can reduce this climate change related events, guys. So that is about this topic. Clear? And now let us see the next article. Look at the title, guys. India Nepal sign pact to step up trade relations. So what is this article talking about? It is talking about simply about India Nepal relations. This article is talking about India Nepal relations. From international relations, you can get prelims and as well as mains based question, guys. Mains based question you may get 10 marks or 15 markers. Overall, every year, minimum 3 questions you will get from IR. And in your prelims, at least 3 to 4 questions from your prelims you will get. In prelims, you can expect question regarding, first one is map. Map based questions, at least 2 you can see in your paper blindly every year. And second one is if there are any important summits or meetings or any agreements between the countries happens. On this, for sure you can get 2 questions. Overall, from international relations also, you will get simply 4 questions in your prelims case. Obviously, you have to read this international relations from your current affairs. There is no way out, right? So if you focus on these areas, for sure you can get 8 marks in your prelims. Okay. So now, what you have to see from this article? First, you have to see what is the present context. why this India-Nepal relations is in use. And next you have to see what are the areas of cooperation between India and Nepal. And next you have to open your atlas and you have to see map whether we are sharing direct boundary with this Nepal or not. Are we sharing direct boundary with this Nepal? Yes. So can anyone tell me which are the states of India sharing boundary with Nepal? Sikkim, Uttarakhand, Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, West Bengal. Okay, so these are the states of India which are sharing boundary with Nepal. You have to see that. And you may get question like arrange those states from east to west or west to east. To complicate the question, UPSC can give this kind of questions. Guys, you have to very much careful about this map locations. And next you have to see what are the challenges between India and Nepal. And next you have to see what is a way forward. India-Nepal relations done in your IR or not? Yes. Now tell me guys, in which areas we are cooperating with each other? India is cooperating with Nepal in which areas? Foreign policy, defense, next. Telecommunications. Is government helping Nepal in elections or not? India will be sending EVMs to Nepal. Next. Come on, think in which areas we are helping Nepal? Gorkhas, Gorkha regiment. Okay, next. Okay, tell me about what are the challenges between India and Nepal. Porous borders, right? Next, come on, tell me online guys, tell me in the comment box. Porous borders. What about map? Do we have any issues with map? Lipu Lake, Limpiadura, Kalapani regions. They are occupied by Nepal and we are saying that they belongs to India. Next. Yes, river Kali issue. Kali issue is related to Kalapani region. Next. Other issues with India and Nepal. Come on, tell me. River only, this only, river Kali will shifts. Cheppadi. Come on, think. Akash. Class winatli Akash. Come on, tell me guys. Nitin. Anji. Sanjana. Ruchita. Recently it had been done, right? How many days it been? China's influence on Nepal. Okay, next. China's influence, river issues, border issues, communication issue, river Gandak. Okay, next. Social conflicts. Why social conflicts between Nepal and India are quite common? What is the reason? Okay, let us see about this article. So after this class, open your IR notes and just refer about this Nepal relations and add this agreement in your Nepal notes. Okay. So India and Nepal signed a letter of exchange, and this letter of exchange is going to amend protocol to the Treaty of Transit. So actually we signed one treaty between India and Nepal. The treaty is Treaty of Transit. It will be very helpful for trade of Nepal. And we amended this Treaty of Transit and we are focusing on enhancing of rail-based trade connectivity between India and Nepal. As you all know that Nepal is a landlocked country. It is not having boundary with any ocean or any sea. So because of this, it needs to have good relations with India so that through India it can reach Indian Ocean and it can do trade in this Indian Ocean region. Okay, so we came up with letter of exchange and we amended protocol to the Treaty of Transit and now we are going for enhancing of rail-based trade connectivity with Nepal. So what are the key provisions of this pact? The first one is they are going to have direct rail freight between Jogbani, which is in Bihar, India, and Biratnagar in Nepal. So we are connecting Bihar with Nepal through one direct rail freight. Okay, normally in trains we have two types of trains. One is passenger trains, one is goods trains. Goods train is called as freight trains. Now we are going to have a direct link between India and Nepal, which is dedicated freight. That is nothing but goods train. That is the first important thing. Addition is we are also going to have enabling cargo from Kolkata and Vishakhapatnam ports to Nepal's custom yard cargo station. Not only rail, we are also going to help through cargo through ports also. And this one is we are also going to expand cargo scope to Nepal. It includes bulk cargo under broadened definition. We are going to cover now containerized goods for multi-transport. So here we are now going to provide rail, road and sea transport facilities for this Nepal. And this one here is we are going to extend our transit corridors from Kolkata to Jogbani, Kolkata to Nautanwa, Vishakhapatnam to Nautanwa. So as I said, we are going to have multimodal transport system. We are going to provide rail, we are going to provide roads, and we are going to provide seaport facility also. All these are now the transit corridors between India and Nepal, guys. So just open your atlas after this class and see where is this Nautanwa located and Jogbani located. And you have to draw lanes in your IR notes, guys. This is one recent current affairs. So what are the reasons why India is coming up with extension or expanded transit corridors? Why we are going to provide this multimodal transport for this Nepal? As you all know, Nepal is dependent on India for its economy, guys, because it is a landlocked country. Nepal is India's top trading partner as well. It exports petroleum products, machinery, and we import mainly like electricity, yarn, etc. So actually trade growth is very much important. Why? Because if you are providing proper infrastructure, obviously the trade will be improved. And 20 to 30% of cargo value of transport that we are getting from this Nepal. So for that, Nepal is calling for diverse transit options from India point of view, and India accepted that, and India is providing this. And this one here is we have regional connectivity goals also. India is having one program called as Sagar. The full form of this Sagar is security and growth for all in the region. And even we have BBIN. BBIN is nothing but Bangladesh, Bhutan, India, Nepal initiative. And through this, we are going to integrate Nepal to Southeast Asian countries. So for this, obviously, we need proper infrastructure, proper transport routes. And this one is even there are certain external pressures are happening. China's influence is increasing in this Nepal. China came up with one project called as BRI, Belt and Road Initiative. Through this, what China is doing, it is increasing roadways, railways, it is providing infrastructure facilities for the countries. So obviously we have to provide this kind of transit corridor so that we can increase our own influence in this Nepal. Okay, if you see the map of Nepal, the red color you can see here is Nepal, and these are the states which are sharing boundary with this Nepal. As you said, we have Uttarakhand, Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, West Bengal and Sikkim. Okay, now we have to see like why Nepal is important for India. Tell me guys, why Nepal is important for India, why we have to maintain good relations. Huh? One by one, tell me. Okay, it acts as a buffer zone between whom and whom? China and India. So we need good relations with Nepal. Next. Only buffer zone. Yes, we share common culture. How and why? Yes, we have marital ties, and even Nepal is a Himalayan state. And what are the challenges Nepal is having? India is also having same kind of challenges. So we need to have proper people to people contacts, people to people ties to address such kind of challenges together. And next, yes, Nepal is famous for Himalayan rivers and for proper river water sharing. Nepal became upper riparian state and India became lower riparian state. If you are not having good relations, what happens? They may stop the flow of water into India. It will be having impact on our Indo-Gangetic plains. Next, Even we are purchasing hydroelectricity from Nepal. And if we want to achieve our target of carbon neutrality by 2070, again we have to shift towards renewable energy, right? So here Nepal will be providing certain chance for decreasing of carbon dioxide emissions for India. Next. Okay, first one is strategic location. Nepal is sharing boundary with 5 Indian states. It also acts as buffer against external threats that we are going to get from northern parts. So that it plays a very important role in our national security as well. And we have Himalayan rivers flowing between India and Nepal. Majorly we have Gandak, Kosi, Karnali, etc. They are very important for irrigation hydropower. And next one here is Nepal exports around 1,000 megawatts of electricity to India. And we have good cultural and regional ties, religious ties. We have famous Hindu and as well as Buddhism pilgrimage sites in Nepal. And both countries, they have majority of Hindus. 80% of population of Nepal is Hindus. And we have shared temples, shared festivals, so that we can strengthen the bonds between the people. And next one here is, if you say about this economic relations, India is Nepal's largest trading partner. And we are getting good imports and exports between these two countries. And Nepal exports especially edible oil, tea, coffee and pashmina wool and as well as power to India. And regarding security also, we have porous borders. So if we are not having good relations with Nepal, that porous borders can be misused by extremists. And we also have joint military exercises between India and Nepal. Name is Surya Kiran. And even India helps Nepali security forces to be trained, especially for this Gorkha regiment. And internationally also Nepal is supporting India to get membership under United Nations Security Council as a permanent member. So because of all these reasons, Nepal is very important for India. So because of that, we are continuing good relations with Nepal, guys. Okay, see this article, very important article of the day. SC bats for protection of pristine sal forest in Jharkhand, Saranda. Okay, do you know the sal tree? In geography, you will be studying about one important chapter called as natural vegetation. From that chapter, every year in your prelims, for sure, minimum one question you will get. So you have to be very much perfect about that natural vegetation. You have to see which kind of forest are seen in which part of our country, and which type of forest, what are the features of that forest, which kind of trees are grown in that forest. You have to make a tabular format notes. Every year, minimum one question, guys, from your prelims. And it is very, very easy also to score good in that natural vegetation topic. So don't leave that topic, guys. Okay, so this article is saying that in Jharkhand, there is one forest. In that forest, we are going for illegal logging. What is illegal logging? Illegal cutting down of forest is happening. And even illegal sand mining is also happening in that forest. And especially that forest is very rich in iron. They are going for illegal mining of iron in this area. So if you are going for illegal logging of the salt trees, sand mining, illegal mining in that region, what happens? Is that good for environment? No, it is very bad for environment. So because of this, do you know this NGT? In yesterday's class also we discussed about NGT. NGT took this as a suo motu case, and NGT in 2022 itself asked Jharkhand government to declare this Sarnanda as eco-sensitive zone. But what this Jharkhand government did is, Jharkhand government did not took any step after this NGT reached this Jharkhand government. And after that, what happened was, now Supreme Court intervened in this case, and now Supreme Court is mandating this Jharkhand government to declare that area as a biosphere reserve. Because of this is in news, case. So where exactly you can use this article? Whenever you are getting any question regarding environment and ecology, maintenance of biodiversity. What is the role of judiciary? If you are getting that kind of question, can you use this article? Yes? Okay, and you can get a prelim based question regarding biosphere reserve. When can we declare any area as a biosphere reserve? What is the criteria? So that is your work, guys. So do some research regarding what is the criteria. When can we declare certain area as a biosphere reserve? You may get direct prelims based question on this. Which of the following is the criteria to declare any area as a biosphere reserve? Because directly Supreme Court is mandating Jharkhand government to declare that area as a biosphere reserve. So in this way, if you are doing certain research, obviously you can clear your prelims without any difficulty, guys. Okay, so now let us see the background of this case. This case originated from a plea of NGT, that is National Green Tribunal, in 2022, demanding for the declaration of the Sarnanda as an eco-sensitive zone. The petitioner pointed that this area was declared as a game sanctuary in 1968 under Wildlife Protection Act, but what happened was illegal logging is happening, illegal mining is happening, it is destroying entire ecosystem there. Now finally Supreme Court intervened and Supreme Court is demanding this Jharkhand government to declare it as biosphere reserve now. Okay, Supreme Court mandated Jharkhand government to declare 314 square kilometers as wildlife sanctuary. Okay, it is not biosphere reserve, it is wildlife sanctuary. Next one here is Jharkhand government assured that its commitment, but later proposed that a reduced area for sanctuary to protect community rights, which the court agreed to review. So Supreme Court intervened and said that you have to entirely declare this area of 314 square kilometers as sanctuary. But Jharkhand government said that no, we can't declare entire that 314 square kilometers or sanctuary. Why? Because in this area, especially tribes are living. Tribes like Munda tribes are living, and we have to protect their community rights also. We are going to reduce this area and we are going to declare it as sanctuary. So that is the response of this Jharkhand government. And Supreme Court again said that, okay, court agreed to again review this decision of Jharkhand government, and we have to wait and see when Jharkhand government will be declaring as a wildlife sanctuary. Okay, what is the significance of this Saranda region here is, Saranda means 700 hills. It is a biologically very rich forest division in Jharkhand region, and it is around 356 square kilometers area, guys. It supports diverse wildlife including elephants, sloth bears, and even it serves as ecological corridor. And now what is happening here, illegal mining is happening in this region. Especially there are significant iron reserves in this region, and this region contributes around 26% of India's iron ore needs, guys. And there are illegal mining activities which are rampant in this region. So because of this, yes, this is a decision taken by this NGT and as well as Supreme Court. And what Jharkhand government is saying that we have to balance declaration of sanctuary and we have to protect even rights of these tribals under this Forest Rights Act. And government is saying that this region is included under 5th schedule. So here in our constitution we have different schedules, right? So we have to see about 5th schedule. 5th schedule talks about regions which are inhabited by tribal areas, and government is saying that there are Munda and as well as Ho tribals are living in this area. So if you are declaring that entire area as wildlife sanctuary, then we have to limit the rights of people. We don't want to limit the rights of people, so we are going to reduce this area. So that is a decision taken by this Jharkhand government, and we have to wait and see what will happen in the future. Okay, now let us see the next article, guys. Title says Center releases draft seeds bill. Farm outfits cautious. Industry welcomes it. So this article is talking about draft seeds bill. Okay. So now you guys tell me who will use the seeds? Farmers. Okay. So this article is talking about draft seeds bill. It has not yet been passed in parliament. Okay, if it is passed in parliament, it is called as act. If it is not passed, it is called as bill only. So actually what happened here is, who will use these seeds? Farmers will use the seeds in their agriculture. So what is happening now is whenever these farmers are going to nearby shops, whenever they are buying seeds, are they getting quality seeds? Are they getting really the really hybrid variety of seeds? A lot of times here farmers are investing a lot in buying of seeds, but finally what is happening? Loss for the farmers is happening because they are not meeting the targets. So because of this, what happens? It will causes huge loss to farmers. If farmers are getting losses, ultimately it will be having impact on our GDP or not? Yes, and India's economy is primarily based on agriculture economy. So if government is not ensuring this good quality seeds, what happened? Can we reach the status of developed country status? No. Can we ensure food security? Can we decrease poverty? Can we solve this problem of hunger in the country? No. So because of this, government came up with this seeds bill. And here we have to see about why government came up with this bill. And next you have to see what are the objectives of this bill and what are the key provisions of this bill. And why this seeds bill is in use is government came up with a draft of this bill, and government already placed this bill in public domain, and government is asking suggestions for the public, guys. If you have any suggestions, please give suggestions. Based on that, again we are going to add or remove the provisions, and we want to make this law perfect for the agriculturalist. Okay, that is the thing which is there in news, and this topic is very important from your governance, guys. If you see the context, it says that draft seeds bill is a proposed Indian legislation. Who prepared this? Department of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare, which comes under which ministry? Ministry of Agriculture and Farmer Welfare. So this ministry under which department came up with this bill, guys. What are the objectives? The first one is this bill wants to ensure farmer access to affordable and high quality seeds. They need to get high quality seeds, that too at affordable prices, not too high prices. Second one is we have to curb sale of inferior, spurious, misbranded seeds. Is it happening or not? Brand is one, inside the seeds or another. And even lots of time we will be getting inferior quality seeds only. And this one is we have to protect farmers from crop failure due to poor seed quality. So farmer will be spending lot of money in getting of the seeds. If that seeds are not good quality, can he get proper income? No. To protect farmers, yes, we came up with this bill. And this one is we have to promote innovation through liberalized imports of global varieties. As you all know that in different countries they have different technologies. Based on that, they are coming up with different advanced seeds, high quality seeds. We can also import them. And next one here is we have to balance ease of doing business for seed companies with accountability. So whatever the seed companies who are producing seeds and who are selling seeds, they have to accountable. They are now accountable for their quality of seeds. And this one is they want to improve transparency and as well as traceability to prevent fraud. Are these good steps or not? Yes, right? So now let us see how government is going to do all these things through provisions. What are the provisions of this bill? So first one is all seed producers, manufacturers and who are selling them, sellers and importers, they have to register with one committee called as Central Seed Committee. And seeds must be certified for their purity, germination rate. That means after sowing, how much amount of germination happens. If germination happens only, then only the trees will come or plants will become. If there is no germination, what happens? Can we go for growing cultivation of plants? No. The first one is that one. All producers, sellers and as well as importers, they have to register. And whenever you are buying gold, we have BIS hallmark, 22 carats like that, no? In the same way for the seeds also we need to have carats. If you are buying any pattu saree also, we will be having silk mark trade, silk mark certification. In the same way for the seeds also we need to have certification from now. That is the first provision, guys. And next one here is traceability and labeling. So here that packet of seeds need to have QR. so that if you're scanning that QR, we can get from where we got that seeds. We can trace the route. Okay, so that we can track the seed origin, batch of the seeds, and supply chain, who is producing that, which company, everything. And this one is, we need to have quality control and testing also. We have to go for random sampling, and we have to see whether there are substandard seeds are there or not. And this one is, if we are going for imports, from which country we are importing that, and even we have to go for biosafety check also. And next one is price regulation. So there should be no high price. We should not impose high price on the farmers. Always we had to have broad price caps. And next one is, if you're not following these rules and regulations, obviously we need to have enforcement of punishments, right? So they're going to fine up to 30 lakh rupees or imprisonment up to 7 years. There are strict punishments under this bill, guys. And farmers, they are going to be protected under this bill. If they are getting any substandard or low quality seeds, they have right to get refund from that company or the shop from where they got this seeds, and replacement for defective seeds. And even if they are having any grievances, that is nothing but problems or issues, there should be seed tribunals. Okay, in this way, government is trying to provide quality of seeds, affordable rate of seeds, quality controls, importing of best seeds from other countries, protecting of farmers, and if someone is doing anything wrong, who is violating, strict punishments. So this is the draft seed bill. If you have any concerns, if you have any ideas, so that you can publish your own ideas in the public website case. Okay, if you have any suggestions that you want to give to government, or if you want to change any of these provisions, now you can also participate in that, and you can also give your own suggestions to government. Okay. Yeah, see this article, guys. Workplace stress linked to rising cases of diabetes among adults. Okay, what is this article talking about? Diabetes. What is diabetes? Sugar. What is this sugar? What is sugar? Shakaranadu. Sweet, huh? So what happens in this diabetes condition? What happens in this diabetes? Okay, you will be taking the food, right? Whatever the food you will take, it contains carbohydrates, minerals, vitamins, some extra things, proteins, fats, everything you will take. So your food will be digested in your stomach, and your stomach is connected with different blood vessels. From that, whatever the carbohydrates you are taking, that will be break down into simple sugars called as C6H12O6, and that will be enter into your blood, and that will be transported to different body parts, so that our body function will happen at the normal pace. Normally what happening here in your body is, in your blood there will be increased C6H12O6 concentration. That is nothing but there is increased blood sugar concentration. There is increased blood sugar concentration in your body. That will cause this disease called as diabetes mellitus. Why this sugar is more in the blood? Because of lack of one hormone. So what happens here is, whenever you are having more food, normally if you go to any function, what we'll do? We will eat more. We will add more ice creams into our belly. We will drop more sweets into our belly. Plus 2 to 3 Coke thumbs up, like that. Yes or no? Sweets, juices. If we go out, our capacity will be obviously increased by seeing the nature of food, right? So what happens if you are taking more food, more amount of glucose will be generated in your body. So if more amount of glucose is generated in your body, that will be converted into glucagon. Glucagon is a stored form of energy, guys, in your body. Who will convert that? Insulin will convert that. Whatever the blood sugar which is there in your blood, that will be converted into glucogen by insulin. If what happens, if insulin is not produced in your body, so this glucose is not converted into glucagon, then what happens in your blood? This glucose concentration will be more. That condition is called as diabetes mellitus, guys. Okay, and whenever you are doing fasting on, for example, Shivratri or on some festivals, if you are doing fasting, what happens? This stored glucagon is converted into glucose by one more hormone called as glycogen. Okay, actually these two hormones, they are produced by pancreas. Pancreas is very important organ which is present in your body that will produce this insulin as well as glycogen. So what are the important functions of this insulin and glycogen? Insulin will convert your glucose into glucagon. Glucose is the thing which is present in your blood. Glycogen is a stored form in your body. If you are doing fasting, you need energy, right? For that energy, this stored will be converted back into glucose by this glycogen. So if there is any improper functioning of your pancreas happens, this insulin will not be produced in your body. So in your blood, now this glucose will be more. It will be more than 120. Sometimes 200, 300, 400. I think you might have heard sugar 300 only, 400, like that. Yes or no? So that is nothing but because of lack of insulin. And this in this diabetes also, we have different types of diabetes. First one is type 1 diabetes mellitus. Next one is type 2 diabetes mellitus. Next one is gestational diabetes mellitus. So what happens in this type 1 is no producing of, your body will not produce this insulin at all. Your body will not produce insulin at all. In type 2, insulin will be produced in your body, but your body cells will not absorb that. That is called as resistance. Your body will be getting resistance to insulin. And third one is gestational diabetes. Now what happens normally during pregnancy time? Because of increasing of social media now, women are having lots of cravings. Within minutes I want to eat this, within minutes I want to eat this. With 5 minutes she'll be having pani puri, within 5 to 10 minutes she'll ask, I want to eat biryani. So like ice creams, everything. So because of this, what happens in gestational period, that is whenever woman she is in pregnancy time, she will be developing diabetes mellitus, and this is temporary. After once delivery done, she will come to the normal pace. 99% of women will come back to normal pace, but it can be present for 1% of pregnant women after even delivery also. So we have to see who is that unlucky girl. Okay. So in this way here, what is happening here is, in India, type 2 diabetes mellitus is increasing. Even though body is producing insulin, but our cells are not accepting that insulin. Insulin resistance is happening. So if you are not having this insulin in this type 1, it is very easy to treat that. We will be having insulin injections. You can take that insulin injections every day. But in this case, it will be very difficult to treat this diabetes mellitus case. So this article is saying that why this pancreas are not functioning properly, why you are getting this insulin resistances, the major reason is stress. Workplace stress, guys. Okay, now let us see this gist. India has an estimated of 10.1 crore people living with diabetes mellitus. See here the number 10.1 crore people. And a lot of times evidence are saying that workplace stress is one of the major factors that is causing this diabetes mellitus in youth. And doctor says that early metabolic effects of stress are frequently related to busy lifestyles. Nowadays we are having very busy lifestyles. Yes or no? Earlier, if you go back to 20, 30, 40 years, our grandparents or our parents used to do certain physical work like cycle dokadam, or else they will be walking on their foot. Now what we are doing, instead of, even if you are having steps also, we'll just press one button for the lift. We are using certain alternatives to make our life very easy. So because of this, our body is not at all listening to our words. It is having its own way. So because of this, it is leading to this increasing of weight gain is happening at a very faster rate. We are not at all burning our calories. Instead of burning our calories, we are taking extra calories like ice creams, pizzas, fats, trans fatty acids. Obviously that will lead to very heavy weight gain and even fatigue. We are not at all working properly, only sitting and working. So no, we are not using our body for the physical work, and sudden carvings are happening. So because of this, endocrine system is not working properly in our bodies. That is one major reason for increasing of diabetes cases in India. Okay, so that is the thing, guys. So just see about diabetes, what types of diabetes. I think UPSC already asked question regarding this diabetes earlier in your prelims case. Okay, now let us see the next article. Look at the title, the Tamil Nadu model of sub-state climate action. You have to note down this, guys. You can use this as a case study example whenever you are writing about climate change, how we can fight against climate change. Please make a note. Tamil Nadu model of sub-state climate action. So what is this model of sub-state climate action? It's a decentralized participatory climate action framework by Tamil Nadu government and launched under Tamil Nadu State Action Plan on Climate Change. And the important aim of this plan is to achieve net zero or carbon neutrality by 2050 only. It is 20 years ahead of our India's target, guys. And they are focusing on science, finance, local governance and community action. Okay, let us see what are the core components, what are they doing under this program. The first one is they are focusing on climate change mission. In that mission, they are focusing on coming up with policies, adaptation of policies, education of people, and One Health approach. And they are focusing on afforestation, carbon sinks creation, and they want to create 23% of more forest cover by 2030. And this one is they want to restore wetlands. They want to focus on flood control and as well as biodiversity. Not only that, Tamil Nadu came up with one program called as T-Ensure. In that program, government is focusing on restoration of mangroves, coastal resilience and as well as coral reefs, guys. So recently we discussed one article, there is increase in mangroves in this Tamil Nadu region. Yes or no? I think one or 1.5 months ago. So that is because of this T-Ensure program, guys. So all this they are focusing on fighting against climate change. And this article is saying that we have to implement this kind of programs in almost all the states so that we can achieve our targets of fight against climate change and we can achieve our targets of carbon neutrality by 2070 and we can achieve our nationally determined targets or goals. Okay, now let us see the next article, guys. See the title. How SEC ensuring fair elections. Elections is a very, very important topic for your UPSC, guys. And it's a favorite area of UPSC. This year we have Bihar elections. For the first time we have this specialized intensive revision. So you may expect mains and even prelims based questions from this election topic. So you have to keep star mark for Election Commission of India in your constitutional bodies topic, and you have to see about electoral reforms, and you have to see about constituencies, and you have to see about SIR also, guys. Very, very important this year. Don't forget to revise this topic multiple times. Okay. Now let us see what is the issue. In Maharashtra, they are going to hold local body elections. What are these local bodies? Panchayats and municipalities. Okay, Supreme Court gave directions to Maharashtra regarding local body elections. And they are going to begin on December 2nd. That is next month they are going to have elections. And they are going to conduct elections in 3 phases. In the first phase, they are going to conduct elections for municipal councils. Second one is for Jilla Parishads. And third phase, they are going to conduct for, second include Jilla Parishads and Panchayat Samitis. So like that, they are going to conduct elections in the different phases. First, they are going to cover municipalities and next they are going to cover this Panchayats in this Maharashtra. And now the question is, how this state election commission will be ensuring free and fair elections. If you talk about these elections in India, we have ECI, Election Commission of India at central level, and the state level we have State Election Commission. What is the function of this Election Commission of India? To whom elections will be conducted by ECI? For President. Next one is Vice President, Lok Sabha and State Legislative Assembly. Yes. So for this, Election Commission of India will be conducting elections. Then what is the function of this SEC? It will be conducting elections for municipalities and panchayats. For the local levels, State Election Commission will be conducting elections. Now in Maharashtra, the question is how this SEC can ensure free and fair elections for this local bodies. So for this, if you see this gist, they are saying that Maharashtra local body elections will be held in 3 phases from December 2nd, and that will be completed by the end of January 31st. And SEC, that is State Election Commission, cannot add or cannot delete the names. But what is the function of this SEC? It can go for delimitation of constituencies. And after delimitation of constituencies, what is delimitation? It will be drawing the boundaries of these constituencies. And after delimiting, what it can do? It can publish draft voters list. And what it can do? It can mark double or doubtful entries for verification. So through this marking of double and doubtful verification of voters, it can ensure free and fair elections. But it cannot add or it cannot delete these names. So here you can get a question. Consider the following statements regarding State Election Commission. They'll give you statements like this. First, State Election Commission can conduct elections for Lok Sabha and State Legislative Assembly. Is that right? Wrong. State Election Commission can add and delete the names in the voter list. Can it do? So like that, these small statements will become a big statement in your examination hall. Okay? So you have to focus on these kind of small things which comes in the newspaper, guys. Okay? Now SEC cannot add or delete, but how can it ensure free and fair elections? It can go for redrawing of boundaries, that is nothing but delimitation. In that, it will release draft voter list. In that, it will mark double and doubtful entries for verification. Okay? So this is the thing, guys. So these are the important articles that appeared in our today's in the newspaper. By this I'm concluding. Thank you so much, guys, for watching, and please do like this class and share this class. And you can follow us on our Telegram channel where we are providing notes of this class, and you can follow on our Instagram page where we are providing prelims question with answer, mains question with model answer, and also current affairs in short. And we have 2 YouTube channels, guys, and that is one is English official and one is Telugu official. If you are from Telugu states, you can also follow our Rathod IAS Telugu official channel. Thank you so much, guys.